Because our website needs representation or illustration of what it is about or just for fun, having an image is the easiest way to achieve that. Fortunately, today we will learn how to implement images along with basic forms to encourage user interaction. So, without wasting time, let's get started. As always, before starting, go to the folder of our project and create a folder called Assets. Inside that folder, add another folder called IMG. This is where all of our images will be stored if we use local images, keeping everything organized. Now, inside the image section, remove our placeholder and add the image using the IMG tag. The IMG tag is different from the tags we have encountered so far because it doesn't have an opening and closing tag like body or section. Instead, we write IMG, add a slash, and immediately close the angle bracket. However, the IMG tag must have attributes to provide extra information, such as src, which specifies the source of the image. Here we use the link to an image as source. Don't worry, I will show you how this works so it makes more sense. The alt attribute defines the text displayed whenever the image fails to load. Now, as you can see, our image has messed up the layout. Let's fix that in CSS. We already have one rule set in our CSS for the image section, so let's add more. Underneath the aspect ratio, set a fixed width of 250 pixels. We don't need to specify the height since the aspect ratio is 1:1, meaning the width and height will always be the same. To fix the height issue, first reset the padding to 0 and hide any overflow. Now we have a beautiful square, but the image scale is off. Let's target the IMG tag using its parent and fix it. Set both height and width to 100%. At this point, the image will be stretched. To fix that, set object fit to cover so the image doesn't stretch. The overflow property already handles any overflowing parts of the image. Try removing it, and you'll see why we needed to set overflow to hidden. Now let's add some hover effects. What if we scale the image when hovered? To do that, we set a hover rule for the image section, then target the child element IMG for styling. Here's how we do that. To remove the choppy effect, we add a transition to the image. Let's first apply a black and white filter to the image, and on hover, we reveal all colors. We could also do the opposite if we were animating text that described the image on hover. But that is beyond the scope of this video. Now, let's add our form. Inside our HTML, within the Forms section, add the form tag. The form tag holds all input fields, such as text inputs, selections, or checkboxes, and must have a submit button. So, remove the placeholder and add the form tag. For our input fields, let's include a name, an email, a text area for messages, and a submit button. The button is automatically styled. Do you know why? Write your answer in the comments section. Now, if we switch to the mobile version, we can see that this is not how we want our form to look. Instead, we want each input field to be in a single column. Let's fix that by wrapping each input inside a div. The div ensures that each element takes up the full width of its line, meaning one element per row. Save and check the result. We forgot to add a title, a text area, and placeholders for the text area and inputs. Let's add those and then style the inputs. Now, in the HTML, replace the placeholder text with a single space and add labels for each input. We'll also design the labels. The labels should animate, translating to the top of the input field when it is focused or contains text. To achieve this, set the label's position to absolute and the div's position to relative so the label is positioned based on its parent. For now, let's make the input borders visible even if they look ugly so we can see where the labels will go. Next, we use the Focus pseudo-selector on the inputs. When an input is focused, we target the next label using the plus sign in CSS and style it accordingly. Now, if you try typing in the input field, the label stays in place. We need to animate it by checking whether the placeholder is visible or not. Here's how we achieve that. We added a translation effect to the input when focused, so we apply the same effect to the label when the input is focused. The label should remain at the top when the input is not focused and the placeholder is hidden. At this point, it's just a matter of refining everything to make the design balanced. We will add a margin top to the .welcome button so it fills the gap and always stays at the bottom. And there we have it, another long one. If you are a blogger, congratulations. You can now create your own website and customize it as you wish. I challenge you now to have an effect on the input so that when the inputs are invalid, there is a small animation for each input using HTML and CSS only. In the next video, I will give you the solution. And also, we will learn how to create a pop-up and make it operational using JavaScript. For now, stay safe and keep learning.